Greetings and welcome to this very special edition of the Career Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. Troy Podell, and with me is corporate consultant extraordinaire Siera Smith. Siera, welcome to the Career Cafe and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Siera, I'm interested in bringing your story to our students in Downingtown because it's just so fascinating. And I'm going to start with the elephant in the room, and I hope you don't think me ageist for saying it, but you are awfully young to have accomplished what it is that you've accomplished. And I'd love it if you could just please kindly take us on your journey. Like, how do you get up? Because I know you started in Florida. How do you get up here, and then how do you start this awesome business that you've created?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all began at a very, very young age, since I was about 10. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So my father actually quit his corporate job at UPenn. Opened up a business with my grandmother, who also, my grandparents helped raise me as well. So it was the three of them starting restaurants, and then over time it evolved to other different businesses, whether it was design businesses, construction business. So it's always been a very versatile background, and I was always very hands-on. I'd be at trade shows competing with my brother, who's 2 years older than me, who could sell more at like 12.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was a really cool experience, and we had a very competitive nature against each other. And then by 16, they were opening up a nightclub with my uncle in Florida, so I got to help them write their whole business plan and even create like their allocation of funds and what it would cost. So I was always really exposed to that, and I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did always say, though, that I was going to get my doctorate in something. I did know I was going to always go to grad school. Didn't get the doctorate yet, but I got the master's. So we'll see where that goes. But when I started college, I started actually in math and physics and realized very quickly that, what am I doing? I am a people's person. I want to own my own business. So I changed my degree to communications and public relations. And I didn't know.
Quite a switch.
Yeah, it's a very extreme, like going from calculus to professional presentations and like pitching and stuff. So yeah, it was quite a switch, but along the way I realized what I love to do and who I am. There's a lot of things that I might like to do, but they're not like end game for me. So, and then knowing I always wanted to go to grad school when I graduated, I made sure to get a job, so start building my career, and then get my MBA full-time at night at Rutgers. So that was about a 3-year process, and I was planning events, over 200 corporate events at the South Jersey Chamber. So that was really fun. I got exposed to very small businesses, kind of again, hearing their needs, hearing what's going on in the business community, planning events from Julius Erving to Malcolm Jenkins to local senators and congressmen. A lot of different people I got to meet in that time period. I got exposed to compliance for ISO, which is, operational things, down to events, down to marketing. And then I was finishing up my MBA. I decided to make the jump in my career, kind of grow my career, and move to a financial technology company, which I think we all know technology is kind of a way of the future, and it's here and now, and it's very relevant. So with that, a lot of times technology companies go through capital raises and meet investors. So when I stepped into that company, it only had a few employees. And then over the tenure there, I was there for about 3 years. Every year I got a promotion, and I ended there as Chief Operating Officer. And during my tenure there, I absolutely fell in love with what I was doing, because I was building a company. First started in marketing department, built that, then project management, then client success, building company culture and things of that sort.
Well, and when you get to the C-suite, that's the mission and vision piece, and that sounds like so much fun.
It really was. But at the end of the day, I was spending over 80 hours a week doing it for somebody else. And that's when I knew, okay, it's time to do, to start that business on my own. And I meant someone that I was able to go into business with and do exactly what I did at that fintech company, but for so many more companies. And being someone that loves small business, what better than to help small businesses? So essentially, we become an outsourced team member Very, very hands-on. So it's almost as if I'm your partner in crime, building your company, yelling at you very nicely about the things that you need to be doing when you're not doing them, and then always giving direction on the right path to go with your business. We've been in business for about 10 months now, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. And that's kind of my path.
Well, let's like analyze that a little further. So I'm a potential prospect for you, let's say, and I have a small company and I'm looking to scale and grow larger. What do you do for me?
Yeah, so
I should say with me.
Yeah. So a lot of times what we find is they're really good at what they know. So for example, I'm someone that knows the waste industry very, very well, but I don't know how to run a technology company for the waste industry or raise capital or really run a business. So some clients bring their idea, some already have their idea and it's slightly executed. We step in, we organize the entire company. We write their business plan. So I get very hands-on, learning their team, learning their vision and where they want to go, and doing all of the market research. So 40 plus hours of research to make sure, okay, this thing is viable. They're not going to put all their money or take investors' money and it just, poo-poo, basically.
So you're like poking holes in the very idea phase all the way. That's cool.
Yeah, and there are plenty of times where I have found myself sitting across from the table from one of the entrepreneurs telling them that this is not the right pricing model, or the technology needs to fluctuate over here, or it's not going to fit the market needs. So you really have to dive deep and analyze a market and how that company can fit in it. If it's too saturated with competitors, there's a way that we can pivot what you want to do, where you kind of are going to be more sought after, or how can you beat out that competitor that's already in the market. So in every aspect, dive very, very, very deep into what they want, what their team's going to look like in the future, how they're going to onboard employees, things that they don't necessarily even think about doing. And then also making sure up front they know how much it's going to cost them. Because the last thing I want is in a year from now, they run out of money and their business dies.
Right.
So at first, I think our clients get very overwhelmed by everything.
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot to think about. But if anything, in the first week of working with me, they know, oh wow, this is great. This is why we're working with them. So
in short, you kind of expose a business owner who may be good at one thing to a whole world of things they didn't even know they didn't know in order to be successful. And then you guide them through how to do that successfully. That's really cool. How do you break into this kind of a job? How do you get into the field?
I think it's being well-rounded. So I've always been kind of someone that is always looking at things not at face value, but the 10 things that could be behind it, and poking holes and just always trying to go above and beyond what you see. So I think being very thorough, and then also exposing yourselves to different avenues. So I made sure I exposed myself to accounting and marketing and operations. So to be someone that is able to really truly help a business in a diverse way, you have to have diversity. Some people are really good at one thing. Really great at one thing. I like to say that I'm very good at a lot of things. I might not be great at one thing, I think, but
you can access that.
Yeah,
right? And,
exactly.
And what you're selling, if I'm hearing you correctly, is the fact that you're kind of a business generalist,
yes.
right? And then you have the resources to tap specialists in different areas if need be. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And in the age of the specialist, I suppose the generalist is king.
Yeah.
Or queen in this case.
There we go.
So I know in a job like yours, where you have lots of different clients and you're working with lots of different kinds of businesses, there is no typical day. But if you could take us through a day that is more typical than others, I guess that would be really great. Yeah.
So I will definitely wearing a lot of hats, so that's why there's really not a typical day. But I would say that I go into the office. Some mornings I might have an event in the morning where I go out and network or speak at an event, meet people, prospects, partners. for instance, where I've met you at an event. So that could be a typical morning, and then I get into the office, and I usually go through my emails, because that is something that you'll learn when you, no matter what career you go down, emails take up a large part of your job. And then I will usually dive into some client work, work with some of our team members, whether it's training them on how to execute on some of the work. And some days I'll be sitting there designing something, because we are a new company. I'm very, very hands-on, and even just the kind of more entry-level stuff, doing marketing, doing social media posts, or because what we do also focus on is helping generate sales for these clients, because they need the money.
Right.
So we do focus on marketing aside from business strategy. And then other days I'm sitting there actually writing their business plan, or sitting with the client and coaching them on how to pitch to investors. So I sit there almost, if you've ever watched Shark Tank, sit there and basically act as if I'm an investor, and I teach them how to do their pitch. And then I sit there and kind of interrogate them, and if they don't answer it the right way, then you kind of got to sit there and critique and work with them, and it becomes very, very hands-on. Organized chaos. My days are long, but when you wake up every day doing what you love, and you're doing it for yourself and other people like you, it feels amazing. So
I'm about to say, I'm sure the day flies at that point.
It does. It really does. I always say I wish there were like 10 more hours in the day at least.
Ditto.
Right.
Aside from all that you just mentioned, what do you love about your job?
I love, I would say the American dream, you hear it so often, is to do what I'm doing and own my own business, but to also help other people follow their American dream. And there is nothing better than people that seem like they could be lost, and they know that they have a great idea, and they know they have a passion for something, but they seem so lost on how to do it, that I'm the person that can help them achieve those things and be a part of their journey. It's not just my journey as a business owner, but now I'm helping other business owners be great at what they do. There's nothing better than that.
It's that catalyst for the pursuit of happiness kind of deal.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. For folks that wish to be, or that are watching us right now, that wish to go the path of the entrepreneur, what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur?
You have to be very, very self-motivated. I'm not gonna lie, some mornings I'm just like, I'd just rather stay in bed. But you have to be your own boss, and you have to act as if, someone's gonna yell at you if you don't get to your office, or, if you miss that event. Like I always joke and say the boss is gonna yell at me, like I'll yell at myself. You have to be very rigid, and you have to be okay with putting the time in. I always tell myself that what I put in now, I'm gonna get back later. And always be looking around the corner for what's next, and being innovative and ready for anything, and rolling up your sleeves, and just being a good person, and like listening to your clients' needs, your team's needs, knowing that at the end of the day, everyone that's around you are people, and to treat them as such. So I think that those things are really, really important. Never lose sight of who you are. So
if you're a self-starter who can dignify others, and has emotional intelligence and the ability to do really great needs analysis, entrepreneurship can be for you.
Yeah.
I love it. One more question for you, Siera.
Yeah.
And I love to end all of my conversations with folks on the Career Cafe this way. You've got 17-year-old Siera Smith by the shoulders. What advice do you give her?
So 17-year-old Siera is not too different from right now, because I've always been kind of very intense. So the biggest thing is, don't let things stress me out so much. I think I let stress, or especially early in my career, guide my way, and like, I need to be here at this age, and I need to be here at this age. I think it's just being patient, working really hard, don't give those things up, but being very patient and believing in your work ethic, and that it's gonna get you to those goals. But don't stress as much as the world might make you. I do wish somehow that I got exposed to more, so I didn't change my degree in college. I had to go an extra year because I started my college career doing one thing. So I think getting mentors as early as you can and speaking with people and educating yourself, if you're going to go to college or if you're going to go to a trade school, just make sure it's the right choice, because it's a lot of money, and it's okay to not go to college. It's okay to, and it's okay to change, but you know, don't stress about it, but also be diligent and figuring out what it is that you want to do, and get the resources. Like what you do here is incredible, and take advantage of it, because it wasn't offered to us at my school, and if it was, it probably would have helped me a lot.
Well, that means a lot for you to say, and know that it's a mutual admiration society, and that's the most positive of notes on which we can end things today. So Siera, thank you so very much for being with us here at Downingtown East, and that'll about do it for this very special edition of the Career Cafe. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.